Archie, you wanna go for a swim? Maybe not. It's Paul again. We're not doing woodworking and we're not on the sawmill. In this video, I'm gonna show you why my shipping container pool was leaking, how I tried to fix it last year, and how I'm gonna try to fix it this year. Let's get right into it. All right, everyone, we're inside the shipping pool container. It is obviously drained, and I had some leaks last year. I've had actually a bunch of people message me asking me, you know, what did I try to do to fix it last year with water in the pool, and what am I gonna do this year to avoid the little bit of leak. So what did I actually have is that we have 3 inches of concrete here. This was a pretty like sketchy plywood floor in this container, well abused. And this comes down to steel. Now when the water comes in, all the weight is pushing against the steel, so it flexes away from the concrete. I kind of figured that was going to happen. To the extent of, you can see, I've actually picked away all the stuff that I did while underwater. So I would actually use like a scuba respirator, which worked on a standard air compressor. I'd come under and I'd do like water weld, I think it was called, JB weld. I used a few different products and it worked really well actually. Now it didn't look like this, they just look like smaller hairline cracks, and I filled them and I filled them and I filled them, and basically I got the leaks down to a very bare minimum, but it always still had leaks, and it was actually taking a lot of time. And that stuff started adding up in cost and price. So I've gone ahead and I've like scraped away most of it. This side over here is what it looks like pre-scraping. So I haven't scraped any of this yet. And keep in mind that like the way this looks right now, it went through a winter, so there's water down here, water freezing. So I'm sure it really like messed up how it actually was. When I did it underwater, it was actually pretty decent. Like I said, it pretty much held the leaks, but as you can see, I had to do it a lot of different places. So I spent literally hours under the water with that scuba mask. So I've gone ahead, I've scraped away any of the layers of epoxy, if they're not like bonded to each other. I'll scrape that away. Worst case, I came, you know, away about 1 inch or so, it seemed like, but up the side, it was okay. It seemed like all the flex was on the bottom. And this, I did use like a fiberglass type mat with the epoxy pool paint. It was meant for epoxy also, but yeah, it just wasn't strong enough. So what could I have done? Maybe I could have just done more layers and I would have been okay. Probably, maybe, I don't know. It would have been stronger, that's for sure. But this stuff's very hard and rigid, so the flex, I think I need some sort of flexible something down here. So I found a product. They don't recommend it for pools, so I'm not actually going to say the name of the product because I don't think they actually want me saying that, but it's a liquid rubber type material that you can just brush on. So here I've picked away everything and I've just done the initial brushing of the product. If there's any actual holes in the side, I try to like get it in the hole, force as much material as I can in there. And then I go ahead and I also purchased some of their fabric that they offer for like bridging seams, and it just like fills up with the material, so it's going to be a little bit stronger. So same thing, this is the fabric here, very inexpensive, but really like soaks up the material. And I'm cutting them into like 7-inch long strips ish. What I found was the best is if I was like halfway here to halfway here, I got the least amount of like folding going on, and it turned out pretty good. So this is a fresh one I'm just putting on now. You can see some of it's not soaked with the material, the liquid rubber, I guess you could call it. Yeah, that's it. This is what I'm doing to hopefully alleviate the leaks. The shallow end is held up pretty nicely. 3x3 steel tubes to the angle iron. Here's the welds with the epoxy pool paint, so no issues there. A little bit of rust spot here, a little bit of rust spot there. I did use stainless steel hardware, but these aren't stainless steel. The HDPE is fine, and it's not actually slippery at all really with water on it. It's kind of nice. The pool ladder's holding up. I got this from a friend. It was looking pretty rough. I spent a couple hours cleaning it up. I believe a pretty major mistake I did was in these edges here, and it's weird, it's really only on this side of the container over here for some reason. The rocks in the concrete really didn't get smoothed very well. You can see how they're sticking up and they're all jagged. And that's not good. That really made a big weak spot in my epoxy fiberglass job, as you can see. Most spots were pretty darn good. Like even this is over top of the rock, but still it would leave a bubble and then there was no strength. And then I believe it would flex a little and then crack a little. So it really doesn't look good right now on camera, but I think this liquid rubber idea with the membrane, I think it's gonna do the job. This was a major issue last year, is these doors. These doors were definitely a major issue. They really flexed out. Now it didn't actually break much of the fiberglass that I did, but at the very bottom, it was just like constantly had leaks. There's kind of this pocket too, which was a little bit silly, that I'm gonna deal with. I'm gonna put a board actually that comes on top of this lip here, and then we'll come down to here, right across, and then I'm gonna do that membrane and the liquid rubber. And my thinking there is like, I'm eliminating all this like extra cracky joints everywhere. My main drain that I have is down here and it's gonna be hidden over this, so I won't be able to use that anymore. I'll figure that out. This is an open top container, so the other thing is, you can see here, I had issue where this is like a separate beam, and same thing, the container just flexes out a little bit, cracked all there. I put silicone last year. Surprisingly, that worked really well. Even while it was wet, I applied the silicone and it still worked, but now with the pool drained, I'll be able to do this a little bit easier. We did enjoy it all summer, so it wasn't an all-out disaster. In fact, it was a great summer, but I wish I wasn't having to do this because I'd be swimming already instead of making repairs. The water truck is here, and I put an angled plate down there that sits against the door on top of the lip, and I used the geotextile fabric reinforcing the joints, and obviously painted on liquid plastic, so we have that around all the edges. There's the Waterman. Okay, we got the second load of water. This is gonna be the second 20,000 liters, so that'll bring us to 40, and we're thinking we're gonna need a third load of this truck right there, bring us up to a total of 60,000. We'll see how it goes. It pumps it pretty darn quick, about 15 minutes. Third delivery is here. The pool's full. We have about 70,000 liters in it. The solar blanket's on, and I have to say, we have no leaks. Can you believe it, folks? This is amazing. It's a great feeling. Fingers crossed that everything holds up, but so far so good. Thanks for checking out the video. I'm gonna have some more update videos on the pool shortly. I've actually had a lot of questions on it and actually a lot of views on the first video. If you haven't seen it, I have a first video on exactly how we built this shipping container pool. So go check it out if you haven't. Thanks again. Subscribe, hit the like, all that good stuff. Fantastic. Ask some questions if you want some answers. Goodbye.